good to have you, and I hope you had a wonderful weekend. All right, today we have a very important issue of discussion. Very important because I'm a worker, I work in an office.
Of course. And then safety is very, very important in our workspaces. And that's why we want to be talking about prioritizing safety and health in dynamic workplaces, commemorating the 2025 World Day for Safety and Health at Work, this day being the 28th day of April 2025.
All right, the theme says revolutionizing health and safety, the role of AI and digitalization at work. And this morning, like I told you earlier, that we'll have a professional to be here to talk about this. He is none other than a work safety expert and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth in Anambra State. He is none other than Engineer Martin Abwele. At least if you don't know him as a Permanent Secretary, you will always know Martin as the fireman. It's good to have you. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me this morning, and I appreciate this. At least today we are talking about safety at work. I really appreciate this call.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Now, you've seen what we are looking at, revolutionizing health and safety. Okay, prioritizing safety and health in dynamic workspaces. Now, when we talk about safety at work, what are we actually looking at?
Thank you very much. To start with, I want to know or talk about safety. You know, it's like a recurring decimal everywhere. I want to always tell you, it's safety first. Safety first. And why is it that safety must be first? That is the issue. Now, safety is just our ability to prevent ourselves or individuals or human beings from harms, injuries. If you can be able to protect yourself or have the ability to do that, then the safety is already there. And for you to be able to what? Make sure that everything concerning safety, that you adhere to it. To make sure that workers, wherever they are, nothing will disturb them, nothing will harm them, and nothing from anywhere is going to be an effect to the work they are doing in their various workplaces.
All right, as you were saying this, I remember that we've talked about this. Okay, this happens every year, and over the years we've talked about it. Now, as Onya Anambra that has been in the service for a long time, and as somebody that has worked where the hazard is much, and looking at the most offices in Anambra State, do you think that people at the helm of affairs take safety into cognizance while, you know, building where people work?
Well, to me, to the best of my understanding, when I was the fire chief of Anambra State, to start with, of course, our governor, Professor Charles Chukuma Soludo, let me just say that for fire service, where I worked then, because that is where we started the promotion of safety. Now, the safety of the firefighters who go outside there to fight fire, to secure the properties of people. I always say, please, it is very important for us to have those safety measures there. And I must tell you, within that time I was there when he came in, he was able to provide those things. Then looking at other sectors, other departments, other ministries that have something to do with safety. Let me go back to Ministry of Works. I always watch them from time to time. You see them, while working they have their helmet, while working they have their reflective jacket, and they have their safety boot. Some of them you see them with their pair of hand gloves. That is to say, that impact is already there in the ministry. In some of the ministry that have something to do with safety, some of them have it. I think also the, what do you call these people, material lab testing, Anambra State material lab testing, they equally have same, because these are the people that does that. When you go to Ministry of Transport, they equally have something to do with safety, because when you are talking about road safety, not the officers of road safety, we are talking about the road safety itself. They have that. They have their reflective jackets, and when they are going to wherever they want to go as in regards to vehicle, you see them. They do and practice that same safety. So I would say in Anambra, for now, when you look at those people that have something to do with safety, they have it. But the problem is always, we know it. Are those things sufficient? Those people, those ones that are provided, are they making use of it?
Exactly.
These are the challenging things.
Exactly.
So the employer provides, the employee that is supposed to use it, which is the worker, are they really using it?
Okay.
Because that is another problem of this one.
Thank you so much, Engineer Martins. Well, you seem to really be grounded in safety measures being taken, being observed in government parastatals and then government institutions. But what about the public-private institutions? Because that is where we see the negating or the negation of the use of safety measures at workplaces. Take, for instance, how often do you go to a mechanic workshop and you see mechanics wearing gloves, having their normal safety apparatus on, even down to helmet when they are underneath the vehicle?
Yeah.
Is it that they don't consider the hazard that could happen, or is it that they think that, okay, I've been doing this thing over the years, so I feel I'm comfortable around it? So what can we actually do in order to promote will I say, beat more drums, you understand, so that people will get to know that safety at work is not just based on experience, but saving your life?
Okay, thank you very much. You see, the issue of safety in the private sector is another issue. Now, there's something I always project, and I believe someday government is going to do that. We have it only in one place, and it is helping them so much. And what is that thing? Safety Commission. We have it only in Lagos, and it is really helping them. Now, we are talking about mechanics and other private sectors. How do the workers feel about the safety measures, the safety issues? Now, coming down to that place. I must tell you, when I was there as a fire chief, what we do, we have what we call fire safety prevention. And that is the only place, that is the only area you can see people going to these private sectors to check out for those safety measures. But then, fire service is a peculiar one. It will always go for fire safety. What about other safeties? That is why I always clamor for safety commission that will see to all these things. Let me tell you why you see some mechanics, not only mechanics, a lot of them, they feel irritated to wear those things. Do you think it's easy to wear a helmet? It's not. If you are not used to it, you can't wear it. Because one, you know what will happen? You feel uncomfortable to wear this thing and climb. You feel uncomfortable to wear your hand gloves.
But knowing is good for you.
Know it's good.
Do you have options?
Yeah, we are Africans. We believe everything can happen, anything goes, and you can always survive it. Before you know it, you blame it to somebody. Or you say, over my dead body, it will not come to me.
It's not my portion.
It's not my portion. That is always the thing. So you see, there was one day I was passing somewhere, so I saw the EDC staff climbing the pole without helmet. And I shouted, "What are you doing? I'm going to report you to your superiors." He asked it to, the thing is by his waist. Just to put it on is a problem. Now, there's something we are doing there in fire service. When they move for fire, of course, I will always go to the fire scene, even to follow them and join them to fight fire, even as the fire chief. What do I normally do? I have to delegate somebody to capture the video of firefighters that will be coming, whether they are putting on their PPE, personal protective equipment, the helmet, the jacket, the safety boot, everything. If you don't have it, you are in trouble. Because government has already provided those things. Now, in private sectors, there are laws, rules, regulations, policies. They are there. If the employer did not provide those things, report them. If a worker is doing a work without those equipment and something happens to them and they've already requested for it and you refuse to do what? OSHA law, OSH law, regulations. So we deal with that office. You can sue the company, even as a private person, a worker that is working there. But if the employer provides those things and you refuse to wear it and something happens to you, you are equally in trouble. Notwithstanding you've already gotten injury, but the company will still deal with you because those provisions were made, but you refuse to do it. Why do you think that people that were wearing Okada people then, they were forced to be putting on helmet. Now, how many of them
are still using
it? Because they feel uncomfortable using it, but we need to. But when you go to some state, you see that it's mandatory. You must.
Okay. You know, when he talked about mechanic people, there's something that actually made me to laugh. I remember when we were much younger, I had this brother that went to learn mechanic. So, you know, when these people that carry mad people on the road.
Okay.
So, you know, as a mechanic official, you're supposed to wear this blue jacket when you want to go out. So he normally goes like that with grease all over the body. Could you believe that all these people, they started chasing him?
They will catch him.
To come and tell them that he's a bad person.
It's ideal.
Okay.
It's ideal.
Okay, now, away from that, there's another man that I knew. He had these 4 fingers chopped off by a machine in a company where he's doing some work. Now, according to, what is it called? The international organization, they said revolutionizing health and safety, the role of AI, you know, and digitalization at work. You believe that, you know, that developed country, they've gone far. You know, a situation where they say that, what is it called? These robots now do some hazardous works. Now, I'm kind of, is there a possibility that we can take a cue from this developed world and bring some of these things? Because you can imagine a man that went out for a day to make ends meet, coming back with 4 of his fingers chopped off.
He has donated his fingers.
So, I don't know. Is there a possibility?
No, it's very possible. Let me tell you, safety and security are one of the things you can't measure. There's no amount of money you put there that is measurable to it. Now, I always say, government, at this point is government. Bring out policy and implement the policy. When we are talking about this, go to China, for instance. In fact, the firefighters there are relaxed. You know why? Most of the job they do, when you talk about the most sensitive hazardous place, the firefighters, the humans, doesn't go there anymore. What you see that will go there is the robot. Then imagine China that has, sometimes you see more than 200 and something story building. Who even climbed there? Is it me? No, it's not possible. To go and fight fire. To go and fight fire. Even when you use, there's one we call a hydraulic ladder. How many of it? The length can't even reach there. That is why they devised the means of using and developed drone. In most of the buildings, what fights the fire there is drones. That drone, they manufacture the one that can carry a very big volume of water. So when there's fire, such fire, the drone will move, go up there. And besides, the drone will not be afraid of anything. You will not be afraid of falling from the ladder. Sometimes firefighters fall from a ladder while fighting fire. The same thing. When you come, like you are talking about somebody, the machine cut off fingers. What will you even tell your children that happen to you tomorrow? So in this case, that is the invention of this AI. To digitalize these things, there are places where humans are supposed to go, which is not advisable, which has adverse effect. This machine, robot, drone, they are the one to move to that place and go and do that thing. Going inside well or anywhere, do you expect somebody to go there these days? Nobody will accept to do it. I remember in 2000, year 2000, July 3rd, when I entered inside pit toilet to go and rescue a baby. These days, nobody will accept to do that. What you will now be asking is there any machine that can be able to do this work? That is what we are talking about, the use of AI and the use of digitalization. So that those things, machine will do that. Even if something happens inside there, it will not affect anybody. Because I remember that year, I was inside the pit toilet, the wall of the pit toilet was collapsing, and I was inside there. It was only God that saved, that I was able to do the job and came out. But then, it's not even advisable. Because there are machines which can do this work at this point, and that is what this
even faster than human.
Faster than human, but there's a problem. You know, we have advantages and disadvantages.
Okay.
One, it will make government will not be employing as they're supposed to, and some people will be they'll be retrenchment.
Talking of that is in a very serious, hazardous.
No, sure. Just few places.
Yeah.
It's not all the time anyway.
Yeah.
It's just few times it can happen. You push them in to go and do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me come back to the safety measures and trying to make sure that our environment is actually conducive for us to work. Statistics shows that 2.3 million individuals have lost their life at their place of work, and that number should be less if measures are taken in order to resensitize people that work in factories and different workplaces on the need to obey and adhere to certain safety measures. Now, as the former fire chief, we have a lot of buildings, a lot of parastatal, a lot of offices. Don't you think it was, or rather it's the job of your establishment in order to go from places or hold seminar, train people and, you know, warn people on the need to adhere to safety measures while at work in order to reduce this number? 2.3 million.
It's
my colleague here just talked about a man going to work and then coming back with 4 fingers chopped off. Then imagine not coming back to your families. You understand? So how do we reduce all of these things in a nutshell?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for that question. Then I was doing it, and believe they are still doing that. You know one thing, there are regulations. The implementation and adhering to those regulations is another one.
Then there should be penalties for
then
not
there should be
adherence.
penalty.
Yeah.
Then this is who checks what. We can do the one we were supposed to do. We cannot go extra mile. That is why I always, at any given time, I will clamor. And I believe someday it will happen. What does Safety Commission do? What is their job?
Some buildings, some hotels,
some recreation
facilities don't even have fire extinguisher.
This is what is happening there. I must tell you. Sometimes, myself as the fire chief, I will move away from my office and go to these places to inspect it by myself, which I am not supposed to do. Some officers are delegated to do that, and they do it. Now, let me tell you, some people will have a building. How does it work? Before you erect such building, now you go to Fiscal Planning Board or you go to AGDA to get authority to construct. Then if you are doing that, you need to go to fire service. Fire service will equally give their own authorization. Then you move on. But the question
how many, excuse me, Engineer Martins,
yeah.
How many Nigerians or how many Indian Anambra knows about fire service coming to be part of the people that will need to give authorization for a building to actually take place? How many people know? I doubt it must be, because if people...
That is what I'm about to tell you. To an extent, a lot know. A lot of people know. Some doesn't. We have seminars. The question you ask, how many people, when you call for a conference, when you call for a seminar or workshop, how many people attend? Now we are in the television, we are saying this. Yeah. How many people are even watching? How many people are even listening? They will prefer to tune that place where you have musicians singing, dancing. If they see what we are doing now, watching it, they will change to another station to look for where the musician, the best musician will be singing, or probably some other issues relating to artists. But this one, they will not listen to it. It's just few people. So when you call for such occasion, a lot of people will not come, but I must tell you, a lot of them know, because Fiscal Planning Board will always tell some of them, when you want to erect a building, you need to go to fire service. And we equally have our conferences, which we always call for people, but how many people will come there?
All right.
That is why we clamor for such a commission where they will be, their duty will be solely on moving around, because fire service will go for issue for fire. What about other safety? Other
sectors. All right. I think we'll come to that other sectors. Journalists are equally at a very high risk in this country. Yeah. And nothing is being done about them. I noted it down here that there's going to be a message to Anambra State government on safety of journalists. You know, I'm one, you know, some of us come to work as early as 5:30, you're on the road. You know, a lot of us go to, security-prone areas to report, to bring reports. And most of these journalists, there are no insurances that cover them. So I don't know, what do you think about the whole situation? You know, making sure that people are safe, or that when they go out to work, they know that somebody out there, knows that they are here. The person can actually stand for them when anything happens. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, you see, the life of journalists, sometimes I don't even envy them, because a lot are still needed to be done. We know that things have been done, but there are a lot of things that needed to be done. The life of a journalist, sometimes I wonder, 6 a.m. or maybe 5:30 a.m., you're supposed to be in the office. Maybe, let me take for instance, you people in this APS, 5:30, you're already on the way, coming to the office.
No, you're already in the studio.
You're already in the studio. So I always ask, by what time will you leave your house to this place? Do you have a vehicle? That is one question that will take you to the office. If you don't have vehicle, how do you manage to? Do you call people to come and pick you and take you to the office? These are the things we need to look into. Now, if those things are not there, I think the first thing is provision of mobility for those workers that can work on duty, that can take them and take them back, bring them to the office and take them back to their various houses. Because some of them will close from work around 10, after 10, 11, and you expect them. You don't know where the person is staying. Maybe that person may be staying where it's not even conducive for him or her, security and safety-wise. But you need to get home. Early in the morning, you still move again. So there should be means of transportation for them to convey them and take them back to their various places. Aside that, incentives, because when we are talking about safety, we are talking about safety and health. Their incentive is also very important. Their insurance is also very important, because anything can happen to that person at anywhere. It's just like asking somebody who is a fire service, how do you survive it, and so on. You need those hazardous allowance, you need those insurance. They are very important for these people, that they do anything that concerns, relates to safety. It's very important. At least government will be able to look into that. The government is trying, but then there are still a lot of things to be done.
Room for improvement.
Well, talking about government, I feel in order for us in this part of decline, you understand, because I speak because we are Africans. Without stiff implementation, you definitely see people not adhering to safety measures at different workplaces. Now, we have the NAFDAC. These are the people that are making sure that what we consume doesn't harm us just because some people want to make money. But even at that, we still have these fake commodities finding their way into the shelves in the supermarket for end users to purchase.
Yeah.
As a safety personnel, what measures do you think that the government should implement in order to deter this? Because Nigeria seems to be having a negative name when it has to do with people wanting to get money at the detriment of human lives. What do you think should be done in order to curb this?
All right. You see, government is doing a lot. You see, sometimes those things they are doing may not be noticeable. You know why? A lot of people, this get rich
quick syndrome
is always there. Now, do you remember that some months back, this Obogu at Onitsha was locked? I think it was recently opened.
Yeah.
That is the same measures government are using. Let me tell you, government will provide, the policy is there, the regulation will be there. Just like you mentioned.
Are there penalties for offenders?
Of course, there are. But that notwithstanding,
it's like the penalties is not commensurate.
It's not. That is not it. Those people that they caught there, they are going to deal with them. There are a lot of fine attached to whatever they've done. That will not stop people. Those people that want to get rich quick, they may even do it outside the world and bring it in. We are Africans. Let me not say Nigeria. A lot of things are happening. And that is why we target corruption. A lot. All imaginable things are happening. Now, okay, that is why, let me tell you, if I'm even driving anywhere, you hardly see me buy bottled water along the road. You hardly see me buy mineral along the road. Equally, I find it difficult even to buy, this they say buy bread. I can't even do it. Because I need to check what I'm buying. I'll check the expiring date and everything. But that is not even issues. Some of them have the machine they use to print the same expiring date and give it a name. So it's a very big problem. It's not just the government. Government is doing what they're supposed to do. But the individuals,
and National Orientation Agency should come in for this health issue. You know, yes, I think I don't really know. National Orientation Agency. Okay.
They do.
Okay.
Our issue is, you see, it may be, in fact, it will be difficult to eradicate this. We are talking about, for now, we are talking about reduction. How we can reduce it. But if you say you can eradicate this thing completely, I think it's very difficult. Because a lot of people, let me tell you, if you search the whole country, maybe if you divide the whole country into 100%, let me tell you about 40% are somewhere doing something that is not proper.
And that's one.
And they are people have
volume than even the 60 that are doing the right thing.
All right, the people have company, a manufacturing company inside their house, where they manufacture the same drink, wine and everything we drink, we buy and drink. Most of them are produced in different houses, one small room.
In unhygienic environment.
And when you see, of course, we see all those things online. When sometimes they will be attacked, NAFDAC will pursue them, EFCC will do this. But does it make them to stop?
Because
when
nobody is penalizing anybody. That's why I'm keep. There's no stiff penalty, because if there were stiff penalty, like now,
who said that?
You travel abroad and you see it boldly written in the airport in most of these Southeast Asian countries that drug peddling is dead.
Does it change anything?
The individuals in that country don't peddle it, but most times when foreigners peddle drugs, they kill them.
Yes,
they face the law. The last World Cup that was hosted in the Qatar, they told you that they don't want same-sex behavior in open places there. So if you know that is what you want to do, keep it at your own place. So when I mean that, when you set laws, there are penalties that should go with those that default that law. But we don't seem to have a lot strong.
There's no way you have a policy, you have a regulation with that attachment of fine. It's not done.
For something that has to do with the safety of Nigerians?
I'm telling you, every policy made, regulation made, goes with attachment of fine. The issue is, this is an individual thing. I'm telling you, somebody will see now, if you cross this line, you are dead. Some people will adhere to that. But there are still some who want to maneuver it and cross it.
Then they will die.
Of course, they are ready to do that. And they will tell you they will maneuver it and cross it. And definitely, when you check, if there are 5 that have said that, about 2 of them may even succeed in crossing it. That is where the corruption comes in. Who does that? Who does what? Government has already done their own. Why is it that NAFDAC will leave their office and be pursuing people in Owogu? It's not only in Anambra, it equally happened in Lagos. Because they really need, government has made that provision, regulation for the health of the individuals.
The health and
safety.
But
then people will still do that. A big man will be somewhere importing something that will destroy the citizens. And he will be happy, and she will be happy, because it's not only men. They'll be happy seeing it. I watched a movie some time ago, many years ago, when a rich man imported drugs. Fake drugs. And unfortunately, he has been doing this for years, and he's rich. There was a time he traveled. One of his child, the only child, became sick. So the same drug he has been importing was the one that was prescribed by the doctor. And they bought it, and they gave it to the child. And that is all over. When he came back, he become angry that why would they do that? He wanted, but he is the cause. Until it was after that time investigation, a very deep investigation was done, and he was caught.
Wow.
So many people do that. Government has done their own, but individuals, those people who are going to adhere to it and do the implementation. But what we are saying, government should come out and do a very strong, and implement those regulations to the last, to make sure that these things are reduced to nothing.
All right, according to WHO, in this year's celebration, they are of the opinion that each and every one of us are responsible for our safety at workplaces. Now, I don't know, we've talked about, government providing what they need to provide for workers, and workers not making use of those provisions. And again, you can equally agree with me that there are some places that they don't provide, So what do we do as a people? Because I work, I must eat. I want to eat. Now, if you don't protect me, how do I protect myself? So how do we get involved as individuals to help and see that these things are done?
You see, to me, I always use myself as a case study. When I was in fire service, I was not yet the fire chief as at that time. So I remember, because I've been fighting fire. When I joined fire service as at 1997, I'm telling you, do you know what we wear to fight fire? You cry for us. But then what did I do? I watch movies. I have friends abroad. I started interacting. They were showing me things. Then I have to move away. How much was my salary? When I started work, then it was 1,000 naira. And I have to start school. I have to go to school. Do you understand me? How much is remaining? But that notwithstanding, I have to move extra miles to buy hand gloves. At a time, I'll save little money and get it. If government has not provided those things, see, your safety lies in your hands. You need to protect yourself. You need to get little things at least now to protect you, especially those ones you can buy hand gloves. When you are going, you use your own. There are students I was talking to the other time. I told them, you people enter different places, go to companies, go to factories and do this. You need to have helmet. You need to have your safety boot. They thought I was joking. I told them, you must get it. For me to teach you people must get it. You don't give me. When you are going, you go with it. So what I was doing then, at a time, I have to get coverall and I have to get my little fire suit with my little salary. And it was difficult for me, but it was protecting me. Then finally, sometimes bureaucracy can cause a lot of things. You may make a request for something before. It's not only you that government is serving. Government is serving a lot of people in different sectors. Before it will probably get to your turn for those things to be done, it will take a while. So while you are waiting for those things, try as much as you can to do something that can save you, safeguard you in that work you are doing as you wait for those ones. Because if anything happens to you, it's still you. Your family will feel the impact, not even the government. In as much as the government will lose something, but you, the impact will be so much on your immediate family.
Can we prevent it?
Sure.
And how do we go about preventing it?
Prevention for these things, first of all, I'll start with the government. Government should make sure, not only government, employers
of labor
or employers of labor. Because when an international labor organization that started this international safety and the health at work in 2003, what they saw is how people got injured, harmed in different workplaces. They decided to come into this. From that time, it has been working. That is part of the sensitization. Now, employers of labor, be you government or private, must be able to provide this thing. You don't need to wait until your workers or the employees start shouting before you make provision.
Or start losing fingers.
So you don't need to wait for those things. You need to provide it because those are necessities. They are very important. Now, for you to prevent further, if government finally provides those things or the employers provide those things, please, the workers, being the employees, should be able to do what? Adhere in using them.
And there are some offices that should have security at their gates that they don't have. I don't know what is actually happening with those ones, you know, especially people that sleep over in their offices. Are they not supposed to have security at their gates?
No, of course they're supposed to.
The kind of security I'm saying are armed people, you know, because who knows what... You remember what happened here some other time at the INEC office that time. So you know the story. So what happens when somebody is there and the armed people, you know, moves into your premises? What do you do at that point?
You see, in the first place, every government building is supposed to be fenced. Not just fencing it, because some people can easily jump some fences.
Through the fences.
Yes. So fencing it is one. Providing some security measures on those fences is another thing. Then before one can be able to penetrate or jump on through a donor base, those internal security men or watchmen, they're supposed to know what to do. They start to make calls to the external ones to come to their aid.
More like backup calling.
A backup. So but sometimes you find that even some of those internal security men or watchmen will be sleeping. They won't even know when the external ones will not come in.
That's good to know. At this juncture, let us call for the Vox Pop that we called for earlier on. I think our producer said it's ready now. Don't go anywhere because the show continues after this.
The whole company, they should like keep cautious of workers. Like there should be rules in doing this, rules in taking care of this. Like workers should not just enter and start making use of their equipment without rules, because of need rules to do something. And sometimes not following that rules might lead you in danger. Sometimes it can be harmful. All these companies that deals with gaseous substance, some of those gaseous substances can be very harmful to the body. So like the rules can be like face masks, they should be wearing it, taking care of themselves, gloves, and the rest.
We don't really have room for like provision where we actually stay to work. Sometimes when we come to work, we just stay in the lab, and sometimes it feels like we are suffocating those working there at the lab. So we just need them, or we want them to like create a space for us there. So whenever we come to the hospital, we would say this is where we are, this is where we are staying, this is our station where we work.
Most times the network we use isn't that conducive enough. And like I said earlier, we are in the world of technology. When you are using your phone, use your phone mostly to get your job done, to report your jobs. And then all sorts of this are done with mobile app. And now whereby your network is not that okay, it's not that conducive for you, for your usage, that's where the problem comes in. And that is where Wi-Fi comes in. Wi-Fi should be a very good solution to this problem that we are having at our workplace.
We heard it from our street parliamentarians talking about safety at their different workplaces. And that might interest you to know that different occupations definitely will need different safety measures. The driver that runs a vehicle needs a fire extinguisher in the vehicle, needs water and some other things as detailed in this road safety core. And then somebody that is in the market definitely needs some other things. Now, let me come to engineer. In the construction of these buildings, you said that certain safety measures need to be put in place. Whose job is it to make sure that those things are actually in place and they are functional?
Well, if those provisions are made, then like we clamor in some companies, we always tell them that you must make provision. You get, we call them fire wardens.
Okay.
Fire wardens. Every company has to have, they're supposed to have fire wardens. What is the job or the duty of these fire wardens? What they do is every morning or day-to-day activity is to check on all those fire safety equipment to make sure they are functional, they are in order. In case if there's any fire emergency, they will use it immediately. Because it will be funny for you there is fire emergency and you can't make use of
the fire
extinguisher.
Yeah.
When you use it to try to operate it, the next thing is what? It will be looking at you. You try to pierce it, it will be looking at you because it's no longer functional. So these are day-to-day check. They have to have this in their checklist so that it will be the duty of somebody to be doing that. In some companies which I visited within that time, I was the fire chief, we equally train people for them to become internal firefighters. As in first aid firefighters aside the fire extinguisher, yes. Because somebody must man it, somebody must use it. This, for instance, this issue of fire in fire safety. For you to try to go closer to fire, you must develop your heart first. If not, any little fire, even at the incipient stage, you run away. So those people need to be trained, and once that is done, once there's any little thing, people will now shout, and the alert will be raised. Those people will now go in before even the arrival of firefighters. That is what we do. So in every company, we tell them you're supposed to have safety supervisor, safety manager, or safety officers in every company, so that once those things are there, they are the ones that even check the internal affairs of workers there, those safety officers or the safety department. So if you don't have safety department in your industry or in your company, then it's a problem. You need to have one. Those are the people that will be checking all those things.
There is something I said earlier, and you told me that they are working. That's National Orientation Agency. Yeah. Informing the people of what they need to do. And in this part of the world, our citizens, they don't care. They don't even know that there is something called safety through their behaviors or what they do. Yes, and but when you see, maybe you watch the video or you travel to developed countries, even when nothing is happening, there are some signs you see. Like when you enter a building, you see signs of exit here and there in case of emergency.
Muster point.
But here, sometimes you ask, is it not the same God that created us and those people? The nonchalant attitude of some of us, shows that we don't even understand that we need to be safe. How do we go about enlightening our people so that, at least when something happens, something like that. So is there anything that could be done to let people know that there is need to be safety conscious? Even your health matters a lot.
I see, I said in the beginning that one, the National Orientation Office, they are doing their work. You know why I say that? Because that office is still existing. So that means they are there, they are doing the work. Of course they are, because I have seen them severally talking about issues in their television and some conferences. Now, maybe it's not enough. What we are trying to agitate is, let there be improvement in whatever anybody is doing. But let me tell you, for us to regulate this issue of safety proper, I'm talking about now, basically in Anambra State. I want to plead to government to look into having safety commission. They are the people to regulate everything about safety. We don't need to wait for National Orientation Commission to do that. We don't need to wait for fire service to do that. Fire service have their regulated work. But these people, this commission,
they are strictly on fire.
On fire. But we go extra mile to go to other safety issues, which is not peculiar to our duty. But when we have safety commission, let me tell you, everything about safety, everything about building, everything anywhere, they are even the ones to checkmate, to make sure that even the workers in different workplaces, those things are provided. So whether you like it or not, as an employer, you must. So when those things be done, before you probably have a company, an industry, before you do that, you must make provision with all those things before they can accept you.
So the inspection could be
done? The inspection we do as firefighters, we do it on the area of fire safety. Okay. Safety is very large, that you cannot just pick fire safety. What about others? So if we have a body that regulates it. That is fantastic. These people will now oversee day-to-day activities of safety in this state. Like I always say, it's only in Lagos that will have it, and it has been years, and it is very functional for them. So if those things are done, let me be honest with you, government will be at ease at any given time. You as an individual will be at ease. You that is working in an environment will be at ease because those provisions have already been met, and you will be forced to use it. That is the major thing I know that can help to checkmate this.
Thank you so much, Engineer Martin Agbili, Work Safety Expert and Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth. You really talked well on the topic that we have this morning, prioritizing safety and health dynamic in workplaces, commemorating the 2025 World Day for Safety and Health at Work on April 28, 2025. And the theme being revolutionizing health and safety, the role of digitalization at work. Wow, we've really talked and we've really learned a whole lot. You've lent your voice to a whole lot of things that people actually don't adhere to in the areas of safety and workplaces. We believe that, having said that, the government will definitely know what to do in order to, begin to work on creating a safety commission that will make life a lot easier for those of us that work, and probably employment too for people that are, inclined in that area. We want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you for coming on our show this morning.
All right, would like to thank you so much for being here. And of course, you that watched the program, you've had it from an expert, that you can actually take your safety and health in your hand. When you do that, to be more careful where you work until government comes in to make provisions adequately for all that we need. That is where we wrap up the show for now. That's our discussion segment. And do sit tight because we'll be back with more on Good Morning Anambra Show.